Good afternoon, colleagues. I'm Professor L Goosen from the University of South Africa. My office is here on the Makkelneet campus in Pretoria, around about where the cursor is there. And I would like to talk to you this afternoon about online learning and provide you with some recommendations in terms of how you can design and implement online learning with your students. This is an example from a course that I had helped to design. I was also the course leader that was run fully online in a massive open online course, a MOOC. It's very important that you introduce the students properly to the environment that they might not be used to. So tell them what is going on in this course, to what extent it might be online, and also things like where they can look for their learning content and where they should submit the assignments, things like that. One of the things that you can use in online learning is known as open educational resources, and this is an example of such an OER. A book that I used in the course in the previous slide, and this particular book was available under the Creative Commons license, which is very nice because then you are allowed to use it, but also to adjust it. Let me show you an example. Don't worry too much about this slide not being very clear. I just want to illustrate. So the practical exercise in this slide, in this book, talks about a non-governmental organization in a small district of a country in the mountainous Central Asian Republic. Now that doesn't really mean anything or a lot to my students who are mostly centered in this SADC region, Southern African region. So what I did is I took this exercise and I translated it in context that might be more familiar to the students in my course. So I said NGO in a small district in the Southern African mountain kingdom. So that's Lesotho for those of you who might not be familiar. That makes the content and the context more familiar. And I'm sure you can think of similar ways in which you might be able to customize content and context to be more suitable to what your students or your learners are used to. Another thing that I use with my students to become a bit more familiar with the context, the context and the content of a course that I present to students who want to become CAT teachers, the school subject. In the first assignment, I present them with a context and a topic that they need to discuss. This is done in the learning management system, but I'm sure you can even implement it in, for instance, a WhatsApp group. So I present them with a certain topic and they must comment on that topic. Not only that, but they must also look at other students' comments and respond to that. So that gets them talking to each other and they feel a bit more personable in terms of I'm not alone in this context, there are other students in this context as well. At the end of my course, I would like the students to reflect on their learning journey through the module and in the module. So I used another open educational resource, and the students today are very comfortable with things like using a blog, and it's something that they might have done before, but they usually are familiar with it at least. And then I ask them to use a blog entry to reflect on their learning journey through the module. As in all the assignments that I give to my students, I let them know immediately once they get the assignment how the assignment will be marked. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Behind my face there in the background is my contact details. But if you would like to discuss any of this further, I'm sure you can also get information from Dr. De Tooy on how to contact me. Thank you very much. Goodbye.